What's up guys, FL Studio is doing a upgrade special at 50% off. This is a really special deal. This doesn't come around often. So if you do want the all plugins edition, I would try to get it if you can. So you got about 4 days. So here is the edition area. So here are the different ones that you can get. So there's obviously 3 tiers. So there's going to be more and more plugins the higher tier you get, but 50% off. So I would try to get the all plugins if you can. All right, so obviously I make videos on FL Studio, so a lot of you would be using FL Studio just, you know, by default. So just here are some of the new plugins they have. So I'm going to be using the ones that I think are the best ones. Okay, so we'll be using Emphasis, we'll be using 𝗓𝗪𝗧𝗦, and a lot of you know about like some of these, right, like Gross Beat, etc. So here's a full list. This is a huge list of stock plugins, and it kind of put it into perspective of all the stuff that FL Studio has. Okay. So we'll be using 𝗖𝗛𝗪𝗧𝗦 as well. This is the all plugins only bundle. So I just want to showcase some of the better plugins in FL Studio for those of you who get this or already has it. All right, now there will be a link in the description that supports me if you want. I've been making videos in FL Studio for a long time, so why not? So that will be in the description or comment section down below if you do want to check this out. So yeah, that's going to be it. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to be showing you how to use some of these plugins from this bundle to make a melody and beat. All right guys, so basically what I'm going to be doing is kind of showing you what I think to be some of the best plugins if you're getting the new all plugins bundle, or maybe you already have it, already have these plugins. I think these are some of the best plugins in FL. Now obviously you have Flex, everyone knows about Flex, but the new 𝗓𝗪𝗧𝗦, in my opinion, it has a lot of sounds. We'll just go through real quick. I'm not going to go through every single thing. I'm going to try to get this in frame. But as you can see, it just has a bunch of little presets that you can kind of play around with, see what they have, right? And it's got a lot of subfolders. And you can kind of walk through these yourself, okay? But I'll just tell you, these are pretty good sounds to start with, okay? I'm going to show you how to utilize this as well. And you can see I even kind of started my own little presets and stuff like that. So for this one, I chose this little organ. Okay, I thought that was a nice sound to start with for this plugin in particular. And then also this little choir plugin, preset. And I'm not exactly sure. I was just clicking around, seeing what I liked. I'm not exactly sure where this is. It could be in pads, keys, one of these, but it's somewhere in here. Okay, so right, pretty smooth sound. Okay, now when making beats or melody, I think it's important to start with something like this that's not too hard on the ears. That's why I chose these. And then the other one is, it's not really a new one, but it's one that people sleep on a lot. And this is a part of the all plugins bundle, and it's 𝗖𝗛𝗪𝗧𝗦. So this plugin is probably the best plugin or stock plugin in FL Studio. I know people like Flex, but this is far superior. It just has so many sounds in here, and most of the sounds are really good. Like you can't even see it. It doesn't fit on the screen, but we got like our basic sounds, and then we have like this Eastern Dreams Bank. Like a lot of these sounds are really great, especially if you make like rap, pop, stuff like that. And I don't want to talk your ear off. I'll just kind of show you how many presets there are. Like this is 3 pages. You can't see it because it gets cropped out of the screen, but yeah, great plugin. So I'll go through the sounds and we'll just build our chords. So you can't really hear this. Let me turn. I like this sound, so I was like, I could utilize this. It's like a weird little bell, and they have built-in effects as well, as you can see. I know it's kind of small for you to see, but that's pretty much it. Okay. And I know some people, they probably want to hear all of the sound effects. You know, the presets, but I like to focus on how to use them rather than just showing you the sounds. It's just kind of like what I like. So got this sound. Okay. We got a piano. This is the 𝗓𝗪𝗧𝗦. Okay. And then a little bass. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll make this quick, no worries. It's not going to take forever. So for the chords, I think I'm gonna just throw something down. I think you don't really want to start like this. Okay, you don't want to just be robotic. Okay, I think what you could do is offset it. So you can offset it like this, offset it like this. Typically this works. And then if you wanted to add like 3 chords, you could. Okay, so our rhythm is done. Right? I just gave you the code. Your rhythm is done. Your beat will be nice no matter what. Just make sure the chords are in harmony. Now you could just use your ears for a lot of this. We could start like, I'm gonna just delete this real quick. And this will be the 5th. And let's turn this up just a little bit so you can hear it. And then what we could do is you could just, make a chord. I'm gonna just pull this up because I do want to make this more lively chord. And I'm gonna hold, I don't know if it's Alt and Shift. So what this is doing is shifting this over manually, as you can see. Okay. So we can get a little bit of something else in there. And then we could, let me see. I think that's good. And then let's just stretch it out here. And I would edit the velocity to make it sound a little bit better, but it's not needed, okay? So I'm gonna delete this, and then what I'm gonna do is just pull this down. Maybe we can do like something like this. Let's see. I kind of want this to be a little offset. All right, so I like that. Now from here, what we can do is just kind of use our ear. So I'm gonna do a little flam. That's kind of what I'm hearing. I want to pull these back. Maybe we could try that. And I want this to stand out a little bit more, so I'm gonna pull them over. There we go. Okay, I like that. And then we'll just copy this over. And then for variation, I'm gonna tell you right now, all you need is just one thing, and that one thing we'll just take out a note. That's it. And then we'll copy it, and our chords are done. I could soften them up a bit, I guess. Now 50% of our beat is done just from the chords. So let's go ahead and move on to our other sounds here. And I'll try to clump them together just so it doesn't take as long. Now we'll do like our accents and everything together. So again, our little triangle. Okay. So I just want this to be in addition to the chords. I don't want to overpower my melody, right? Like, I think this is good enough. So we're going to just keep adding to it until it sounds full enough. So I'm just going to literally, you could just take like, I don't know, we could do. I'm going to see how that would sound. It sounds a little off, but I just want to. At first it was sounding decent, but nah, we good. So. I'm gonna just pull this down. I'm just fixing the alignment a little bit. And then we can move it over. And then again, just pull this. Then I'll just kind of mixing it in. So what I was doing here, just turning the reverb up. I know it's really hard to see. It's really hard to see. It kind of blends in with the interface, but just throwing that in there. And then we could do, we could do this. I'm just gonna add some simple notes in here, and we could just kind of cheat and use a little technique here. Okay, and this is not like an official music theory term, but I just like to call these linger notes. They're just notes that kind of linger throughout the bar, right? Just to kind of just help it. It just kind of helps the melody a little bit, okay? I'm not gonna over explain it, but it's just a singular note that kind of plays through. We'll just throw that one up. Nothing crazy. All right, so we'll leave it there. I like what we have so far. Now we'll go ahead and add the bass in our piano. Now we're gonna focus on the ear candy part. So this is just like the extra little part. So we have our little piano, right? I'll even turn this up a little bit. And then we have our bass. So we'll just start with the bass, and I'll just kind of move through this fast. It's pretty self-explanatory, so it'll be something like this. And then you could also play around with these slides since it is a stock plugin. So I'll just show you what I mean. All right, you could play around with these a little bit. And then, yeah, let's just, we don't need to overdo this. We can just go. And then we'll just copy it over and just add a little bit more to it. Okay, maybe move this over. And then I'll move this over. And I'll pull this up an octave. I'm not going for like a super realistic bass, just something that's interesting. So let's listen to this, see what it sounds like. Now we're going to turn it down an octave. Okay, I like that. So now for the piano, this is what everything sounds like so far. So let's do like the piano. Now this won't be playing all the time. This should just be something we could throw in. So really what I would do is just kind of play around with the notes we have. So we'll turn this up. Let's try pulling this up an octave or two. I like that. All right, we'll pull this up. Just for something, right? The ear candy, it doesn't need to be anything spectacular, just something interesting to the ear. And I'll copy it over and we'll just cheat a little bit, just kind of do something like this. And then let's add another little note, move it over. And I'm gonna make these a little bit larger. All right, I like that, and let's turn it down a little bit. All right, so that is pretty much the melody. So what we'll do now is add the drums and finish this up. Let's go ahead and wrap this up with some drums. So I don't like to ruin the ending, so I like to kind of turn everything off. And then what we can do is just go to our, we'll turn it off as well. We'll go to our bass and just kind of copy this. And I'll turn this down. Okay, so you gotta be careful with like an 808 like this because it's very low and subby. So just trying to get the velocity right so it's not super distorted. And then for the kick, I like to double my kicks, so we'll do something like this and then we'll just use it sparingly because I'll probably turn this down a little bit. And then from here, I mean, we're pretty much done, right? We just bar it up. I guess for this, I could zoom in a little bit. So, let's see, maybe we could play around with this like that. Now, I'm gonna go up here, click this. And this menu will pop up and then we can go to velocity and just plug down. Let's actually play around with the panning a little bit. Just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I'm gonna turn these two down a little bit. I don't want them to overshadow just the main drums. And then just throw in our hi-hats. And our beat is pretty much done. Now, there's a lot of other things we could do, like mix it to make things a lot more clear. But usually I just kind of use like an overhead thing. So I'll just play everything all together real quick. Okay, so our bass beat would just be this. So I'll just show you like the preset I'm using, and this is another new plugin that they have. So let's go here, and basically we got this little setup. Now, if you watched my videos before, you've seen this plenty of times, but usually I use EQO. So EQO, let's turn it on. It'll look something like this. Well, you can't really see, but this is my main preset, right? I like to take out some of the frequencies in the lows. Doing that makes the bass, I don't know why, right? I don't know the technical, but for some reason it just makes the bass a little bit sound a little bit better. And then, you know, boost a little bit of the highs. Now this is a preset, so it's not going to work exactly for this beat. And then we have emphasis, which is like the new soft clipper, I guess, like to put it simply. Now, I'm not going to explain everything because I don't understand it exactly yet, but for my settings, I usually like steady. I usually put the input gain, well, it depends beat by beat, but usually around 2. And then for the hardness, I like to play around with this. Usually I end up around 3 though. So you can kind of copy those, and there are other settings, as you can see down here, you could try. But this is kind of what I have. Right, and then for this, I usually like bring it down. Just to clean it up slightly. And you could also go in here and turn down the bass and stuff, but emphasis on top. Can I even make this larger? I can. So usually I would just play around with this a bit. So like, right, you're starting to get that like distortion. So you could play around with this if you like that. You can see it's a little softer here, so I like 3. You don't need it that harsh, right? And I'll just play around so you can see. It's not a big difference in these presets, so I just put it on steady. Let's turn it down a bit. Right, so that's gonna be it. So if you do get upgrade or already have these plugins, this is just a way to use it, okay, for your beat. And just to rehash, have a little organ from 𝗩𝗧𝗦𝗦. Okay, and again, I know there's other plugins, but I felt these are the ones that people sleep on the most. Like a lot of people know about like the other ones, but Sakura and the 𝗩𝗧𝗦𝗦 are really great plugins to use in FL Studio that are stock. Of course you have Flex, but Flex in my opinion doesn't really have an identity, if that makes sense. It doesn't really have like a core sound, just kind of just random, you know, presets. But these are the plugins here. This is how you use them. So this is gonna be for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.